Are you tired of feeling miserable or grumpy most of the time and want to start living your days comparable to Goku's 10 days apiece before the Cell games? Well, start doing these 7 things today and cut down on these things.
Number 1, time outside with fresh air and sunlight. The natural light also helps you to regulate your circadian rhythms, improving your sleep quality at night and boosting your innate energy levels. Sunlight triggers natural vitamin D production, which also helps with emotional regulation and also just helps you increase your immune health so you don't get sick as frequently. Actually being in nature and touching grass will actually lower your body's cortisol levels, the stress hormone that fills most people's bodies the same way I'd feel. But it also affects your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you to rest and digest. Humans literally evolved outdoors. That's why nature feels so good to our nervous systems, okay? We were not meant to constantly be inside behind computer screens, constantly scrolling our phones, stuck inside all day. Seriously though, you might want to take a look at your screen time or just how much time you spend behind these screens, because we all have these screens everywhere, and spending too much time behind blue light screens can actually suppress your melatonin production in the brain, which can affect your sleep, but also staying on too long can also cause eye strain, tension headaches, and for some people can actually start to develop anxiety or make their anxiety worse just from all this overstimulation. Another thing, while it's great to follow people you like on social media, if you start idolizing others or getting over invested in their lives and then constantly compare them to yourself over and over night after night, that can start to drain you visibly because it causes feelings of envy, feelings of inadequacy. It'll start to make you get that external validation addiction. It shifts you away from your focus on your own personal goals. It makes you just become more of a passive observer and actually start to undermine your own worth. Like, why am I not like them? Emotional overinvestment in others and nonstop comparison will literally eat away at your mental bandwidth because you will feel like you are never enough even when you are doing well. Sometimes social media can magnify this effect because you're comparing your day-to-day behind-the-scenes life to everyone else's highlight reels. They're showing you what they want you to see. That can make you feel fatigued, overthink, or even burnt out. So literally cut down on the amount of screen time you're having, all right? That doesn't mean that you're giving it up indefinitely. It just means that, okay, I know that I've been kind of overdoing it here. I'm gonna put this to the side and focus on what I really want to achieve. And then boom, you got it. 2, daily exercise or physical activity. This releases endorphins, your body's natural painkillers, increases dopamine and serotonin, which are just neurotransmitters in your brain, which help and boost your mood. They also make you more motivated, and they just increase your overall well-being. It also helps reduce inflammation and stress, both of which are known to make your anxiety and depression worse. One of the biggest benefits is it improves your physical capabilities, making you to a stronger, more badass version of yourself. It just makes your appearance look better. So damn, you watching right now, you looking fine. I see you getting them gains. Woo! Now, sitting all day is fucking terrible for you. And I apologize in advance if you have a condition or injury where you can't, like, you know, stand fully, okay? Like, this isn't directed towards you. This is directed to people who can, but they just choose not to. But sitting is not the best. When you sit all day, it actually slows down blood flow and oxygen delivery to the brain. Your muscles stay inactive, which means less cellular energy production. We miss you, mitochondria, and increased muscle tightness, back pain, poor posture, and all of that just leads to you feeling more and more fatigued. Staying sedentary has straight up been linked to having higher rates of depression and anxiety in millions of people. Our ancestors had to move constantly. Hell, I watched this animated documentary on HBO Max, I think it was called Primal, and it shows you just how important it is to move for our bodies and brains, all right? They expect you to move to function well, so get out there, get your spear on. Check out this playlist if you want to get started, but also start to train like your favorite characters. Number 3, quality sleep. Your brain will start to clear out toxins from your body, while your body also begins to recover and regenerate. Lack of sleep can also temporarily shrink your prefrontal cortex, and that's the part of your brain that focuses on decision making, emotional reasoning, emotional regulation in general. Poor sleep can disrupt your hormones like leptin and ghrelin, which we've talked about before on this channel, and those basically affect your hunger and your mood and energy levels. Make it a lot easier to, you know, DoorDash at 2 a.m. like, oh crap, you know what, I'm hungry, I'm just gonna get this and forget about it till morning. And obviously if you aren't sleeping enough, you're gonna feel a lot more anxious, a lot more irritable, a lot lot more depressed, a lot more stressed. And then a lot of those people who don't get enough sleep, they always feel like their life is a lot worse than it actually is, because that's how they're perceiving it, just because their body is not responding properly. It's why I always say it's one of the most important steps in the three-leg stool of fitness, because you could be doing everything else right. You could be training hardcore, you could be eating properly, but if you are not sleeping enough, your nervous system cannot regulate properly. You could literally are going to feel like shit most of the day, and you are literally not getting any of the gains that you need, all right? So make sure you are resting enough. So log off early, get yourself some magnesium and melatonin, and pass out. All right? Invest in getting some, like, you know, blackout curtains, or the eye mask I'm wearing right now. It actually is really helpful because it makes you just feel like everything is pitch black. All right, I'm not sponsored by them, but I love this Manta Sleep mask, just saying it. And also just, you know, make sure that you are trying your best to get more sleep. Some people just go, fuck, I just can't sleep. All right, but it keeps your body in a constant state of high alert. You have your cortisol flowing all through your body, adrenaline, shallow breathing. It also messes with your digestion. It messes with your immunity, so you get sick more frequently, and then over time it just leads to burnout, irritability, physical sickness, and mental fatigue. All right, it literally shrinks the hippocampus of your brain. All right, you do not want that to happen, and it makes it hard to focus and do all this stuff. So that's why I have an entire playlist on mental health stuff that you can check out right here. I hope it can help you, but yeah, definitely go and try and get some more sleep. Don't listen to what the Punisher says. Go take that nap. Number 4, good nutrition. I have right here the good old classic Senzu shake, which you can do on my channel. And of course, y'all know, like I said in that last video, I love a good burrito, because I think burritos, sandwiches, and wraps can be healthy foods if you know how to prep them right. All right, for example, this is just stuffed with white rice, some chicken, some ground beef, and I seasoned it a bit, some vegetables in here too, and then like a low-calorie tortilla, and then I also just, you know, put it in the little air fryer so that it could be a bit more crisp, but it's delicious, along with the Senzu shake, and this is pretty much a healthy thing. I always say, like, if you can make your nutrition easier, it's gonna be a lot easier to stay consistent with it, all right? So, like, just watch how you make your stuff. Also, did you know that the gut and the brain are directly connected due to the gut-brain axis? The gut produces over 90% of your serotonin, so a healthy gut can literally make a happier brain. So eat tons of nutrient-dense foods, because it helps support the production of natural energy, boost your immune health, and also just help your overall hormonal balance. Too much junk food and ultra-processed carbs can lead to inflammation and blood sugar spikes, and all of those can lead to like mood instability, fatigue, and then also just added on to your anxiety. But remember this, it's the key thing we always talk about on this channel. It's not the food, it's the dosage. So for example, if you eat like 400 calories of junk food a day, but the majority of your other food is healthy, nutritious food that's going to benefit you in the long run, then that's completely fine. The problem is when people, majority of the day, they're just eating like greasy, unhealthy stuff, like for majority of their like meals and stuff like that, and then they start to feel like crap and wonder, oh, why do I feel like crap? I thought I ate today. So yeah, make sure you're eating more healthy, balanced, nutritious foods. I got a ton of stuff on my channel that can help you with that. But again, don't overdo it here. It's fine to have these in moderation, but overdoing it, you're gonna feel like shit. Like I always say, our bodies are these meat bone mechas, you know, like you wanna make sure that you're taking care of them and putting the proper fuel in them. Don't like keep putting like trash, mud in the gas tank and then wondering, why is my mecha not properly functioning or anything like that, right? Make sure you take care of yourself. Number 5, frequent in-person time with friends and loved ones. While it's good to have alone time, humans are biologically designed to be social mammals. Isolation plus loneliness literally causes the brain to perceive a threat and will ramp up the stress hormones, because back in the old days, if you were alone without your tribe, your shit was about to get fucked up by a pre-Manny and Sid Diego. Social connection increases oxytocin, which promotes bonding, trust, and emotional regulation. Just having meaningful eye-to-eye conversation and even physical touch, whether it be like, you know, hugging your bro or handshake or dapping someone up, it can all actually help you to lower your blood pressure and cortisol in the body. Having support from others helps reduce existential stress, and it also just lets you feel like you are safe and that you belong. Our brain is literally wired to crave connection. If you're still feeling isolated all the time,
time, even if you have great friends online, you're gonna start feeling like crap. So get out of the house, join a gym, a club, a recreational sports team, be a frequent at the same place every single day so people recognize you as a regular and you can have conversations more often. Hell, I have a group right now for people doing a 5-month challenge to drop weight by December, so if you want to sign up for that, the link is in the description. But there's tons of stuff you can do to start meeting new people. You just gotta get out of that comfort zone because it can like lock you in place, all right? So get out there, start talking to more people, and you got this. Number 6, and I'm only bringing this up because it has been scientifically shown that people who get this more often are in a much better mood than people who don't. And if you are of age and doing this safely and consensually, regular buddy cardio does absolute wonders for you. Also, I have to start an OF page to show that kind of footage, so pardon me for not wanting to get taken down on YouTube, all right? And also, if you're asexual, it's completely fine as well if you're not into that sort of stuff. I know some people are and some people aren't, but I want to say it's completely fine. I just want to talk about it. But buddy cardio releases oxytocin, dopamine, endorphins, and prolactin, a beautiful blending of bonding, relaxation, pleasure, and just satisfaction overall. Being desired and loved by someone you also desire and love reinforces your own self-worth and security. Now, there are a ton of like actual scientific benefits to safe, consensual, legal buddy cardio and stuff like that, but I don't know how much I can say on YouTube without this video getting the yellow card or anything like that. The last time I talked about this sort of stuff was when I talked about one of my favorite webtoons, which I don't know if I can say the name of, but it was a webtoon I really enjoyed and the creators actually reached out to me, which was awesome. But no, it was, I'll just say that if you can do it safely, consensually, all the stuff, legally of age, all that, then by all means, like, have fun. And number 7, fulfilling work that you enjoy. Because not only do we all work for survival purposes, but also it gives us a sense of purpose. For example, imagine if tomorrow you got an insane amount of money, you could basically do whatever you wanted for the rest of your life. It would be very awesome at first, no worries, no stresses, but after a while you would hit a level of homeostasis where the things you enjoyed don't give you as much joy as they used to. It's how we are biologically wired, and we've seen this in various media. Think of The Good Place, or Squidward moving to Squidville, or the Twilight Zone episode, A Nice Place to Visit. If you get too much of a good thing, you'll always eventually grow numb to it. When you work on something that aligns with your values and strengths, it fuels that like inner motivation, that intrinsic motivation where you're doing something because it matters to you, not just for the reward, and it gets you into this flow state of things where you're just like, oh man, I'm loving this, I'm loving every bit of this, and it is one of the most psychologically rewarding things that a person can ever go through. So for example, if your work currently sucks, or it eats up most of your day and you feel like, oh man, my life is pointless or stressful, it is so important to make time for your side hustle and gradually build it piece by piece while doing stuff you have to do. For example, I did that back in the day with YouTube and coaching when I used to work at Burger King. A lot of us get into this mindset, well, I need some form of joy today, you know, and then just do whatever to kill time. But like I mentioned in this video, there are many ways for you to get all the time you need to accomplish your goals. Doing this sort of stuff also builds real dopamine, which is very important because you need dopamine to actually want to do your goals, to actually do things that will benefit your life. But so much of our lives these days, we waste our dopamine on cheap dopamine stuff. When you overconsume stuff that gives you cheap dopamine, it basically is training your brain to expect instant gratification all the time. It weakens your ability to delay gratification or stay focused on meaningful tasks. It overstimulates your dopamine receptors in the brain, which eventually become desensitized, so you feel like I need more and more and more and more to get the same high, and it leads to dopamine burnout. And so you think like, oh wow, I really used to enjoy this thing, now it feels kind of meh. Again, there's nothing wrong with gaming, scrolling, having these ladies help you go to sleep, getting a drink at the bar, or any of that stuff occasionally. The problem is a lot of people develop addictive personalities where they don't know how to control themselves. So for example, a lot of people will see something where they like, you know, develop this thing and it's just like, okay, I have to get this every single day. I can't stop myself. And then they start to resent this stuff because they cannot control their actions. That is something for you to go, all right, no, how do I fix this? What do I do? What do I do to cut myself off from that? For example, if an alcoholic, you know, has a problem with alcohol, they know not to go into bars. But like if you heard that alcoholic say like, oh no, all bars need to be destroyed, you'd be like, no, dude, you need to be able to control yourself. That's one of the things. It gives you power over yourself. You have that power. Like that is one of the things online, which I always worry about, because online is very hyperbolic. Everyone is trying to galvanize you in one way or the other, when in reality, you have to be able to control yourself dead center. You have to be able to go, all right, no, I have a problem. I need to find a way to solve this problem, and I need to find a way to like get help for myself, all right? And there's tons of groups out there, and you're not alone, so don't ever beat yourself up or anything like that, all right? That is one of the most problematic things that happens to a lot of people, is they have that addictive personality and they just overindulge, they overdo it. Like I've talked about it before on this channel. I have a problem with stress eating. So that was a problem I used to have all the time in the past, just stressing. I would just overeat unhealthy food. I would just get a bunch of unhealthy food. I would just consume, and I realized I have to stop doing this. I have to stop door dashing and doing this because I'm stress eating and I feel like crap, all right? So I found ways to like help myself overcome that, and you can overcome that stuff as well. The more you flood your system with cheap dopamine, the less real life joy you will get. In conclusion, each of these factors tap into core human needs: safety, connection, autonomy and mastery, belonging, biological regulation, pleasure, and bonding. When these needs are met, your nervous system gets the green light that you are safe, you are connected, and that you matter. Versus all the things we just mentioned that drain your energy because they all disrupt the neurotransmitters in your brain, increase cortisol and inflammation, decrease dopamine sensitivity, erode your self-esteem and presence, and reduce your resilience to stress. So here's a checklist I made, y'all, that you can just screenshot and stay consistent with for like 30 days. It'll show you if you're doing most of the good stuff or most of the bad stuff, and explain like, okay, why you feel like up and down. And if you're someone who's gone through like, you know, mental health disorders or trauma too, we're all fighting for you. We want you to like succeed as well. So you are not alone in this either. These are just various things to help people out in general, just to start feeling better. And again, like, it's one of those situations where stay consistent with this for 30 days and come back to this video in 30 days and say like, oh, these are the changes I noticed personally from this, all right? So you got this. And if you made this far in the video, type I've got this, because I know for a fact you got this and you can improve. Check out my videos in this playlist to help you stay consistent with your journey. If you want like a program with like nutrition plans and all that stuff, be sure to check out the description box and the pinned comment down below. And if you want me as your sensei, your coach, to help you stay consistent all the way through, then message me at the description box, this link right here. Then we can talk on Zoom and see like if it'll help you out. But remember, you got this. I'm proud of y'all. So just stay consistent, and like these little things, 1% better every single day, you're gonna get after it. But remember, like I always say, keep calm, booyah on, and don't forget, Momentai. Now go get after it. You got this.